Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 2020, My Team Principal, episode number 15. We're at the halfway point of the season, so that means it is time for another half-year contract. Of course, we are trying to stick with Tatiana Calderon and see if we can develop her over time into a champion. Rating has gone from significantly lower than this. I think she starts the game at, what is that, like a 59, 60? She's up to a 71. Whatever it was, it's developed a lot. Race pace now 70, or racecraft 70, awareness 79, and overall race pace 75. Still not great. Experience is coming along. She has developed, and obviously we've seen the fruits of that as this season has gone on. Multiple podiums. Market value has jumped to 4 million. Still not a driver capable of winning championships, but we're going to hang on. We're going to also go with the low risk, as there certainly is a chance that somebody's going to come along and try to take her away, as she is definitely a competitive driver now. Certainly not one of the best on the grid, but competitive. And she's signed on, so we're still good to go. It's amazing to see that we are this close to maximizing the car's potential. The ultimate front downforce package of the turning vanes available. It's going to take most everything we have in R&D points right now, but look at the gap we have and the gap that this is going to continue to build and maintain. Before long, we're just going to be saving up points to cover off rule changes, and we'll see. This year could really hurt us if something happens. We'll lose quite a bit. But if there isn't a rule change this year, I could see us actually maximizing the car and saving up points by early mid next season. So we're at Silverstone for this race, starting the second half of the season. And of course, Silverstone in real life just treated us to two very exciting races, albeit for reasons that I'm not quite on par with, not quite a fan of, or at least the second event. But it actually feels to me like it's been months since those two races. After a week off, and in between that, they were in Catalonia, right? Were they even there? That whole race was over in 10 seconds, and that was the most boring race I have ever seen. There was zero excitement for me on a scale of 0 to, anything. 0. Silverstone, it was nice. Charles Leclerc, again, just completely dominating in a car that does not belong where it is. His teammate down in 18th. Leclerc grabbing a point for Alfa Romeo. Ricciardo only 2 points on the day. The AlphaTauri getting into the points. Calderon only 7th place for her after starting on the second row. Not a great performance. She was 0.2 away from beating Vettel, but she was also half a second away from 9th place. So not exactly a strong showing there. Bottas, after starting on pole, only manages to grab 4th place, not even on the podium. Verstappen, another podium for him. Hamilton started second, finished second, but it is, once again, Juju Noda, the dominant car, showing its worth with the driver who's actually capable, unlike Calderon, who just underperforms for the car. Standings, though, she's just a single point out of 6th place. On the verge of threatening both Ferrari's positions. Verstappen just 9 points short of Bottas in the Renault. Russell, meanwhile, though, is 8th place, so the Renault is looking pretty good. But it is now a 99-point lead for Juju Noda, and in the Constructors, it's tight. 20-point advantage. Calderon just scoring a bit of points, and then both Mercedes drivers scoring well. So as far away as Noda is in the standings now, it is very close in the Constructors. Easily could go either way at this point. Upgrading our final secondary sponsor, putting all three of them up to top 4 or podium finishers. That's a good bit of money. A really good bit of money when you combine the three of them. The weekly totals, we're looking at about $900,000, so close to $1 million. But then the bonus for getting, say, a podium where you get all three of them. Easily an extra $1.5 million or better. When you throw in the main sponsor, $710,000, we're scoring a lot. I mean, we're making about $3 million per week now in this current setup. Both AlphaTauris in the points today. One of the McLarens grabs a couple points. Also a rare feat for Red Bull these days, grabbing 6 points. Just one Ferrari up there today. It's Ricciardo, so Vettel only 12th place. Russell, the Renault that's in the points, it's Verstappen who finished 11th after starting 4th. Verstappen and Vettel both down the order. Did they have a collision with each other? It's possible. Calderon, though, another decent performance. Slowest of the top 2 teams, but after starting 3rd, finished 4th. The only reason why she got knocked down a spot was because of me. She was also less than a second behind Hamilton, so staying close there. So that's good. Hamilton started on pole, but finished 17 seconds behind. Noda flies through the field more than a second a lap faster than anybody else. Mercedes-type dominance, but starting from last place. 10 seconds clear in the end, or at least a tenth away from that, claiming yet another victory. Noda more than 100 points ahead now, and Calderon moves ahead of not one, but both Ferraris, though technically equal on points with Vettel. And we extend our lead slightly to 25 points in the Constructors. And with well over half the season behind us, AlphaTauri outscores Red Bull, so the B team outscoring the A team by 11 points. With the new income, the money's flowing in, and we're able to get the final resource point generation upgrade. Didn't realize it was actually only $12 million for this one. It's a little cheaper in the durability department. Could have had that a week ago started, but that's okay. We'll take it as it comes. That actually still leaves us a little bit of money. And with that final upgrade, we're going to start being able to turn our direction elsewhere. Major brake upgrade. The chassis, a little bit clear of the field now. We'll see if we can stretch that out a bit further. Ultimate engine upgrade failed. Luckily, we have plenty of R&D points to make sure that that comes through, but it's going to take it a couple more race weekends. That's a lot of extra time to get that upgrade through. And we're on to the season break. And a spa next. Minor upgrade in the personnel area. Just $3 million to improve experience of Calderon. But those next two, $10 million for the racecraft and awareness, which does improve 2 things. And then their pace. That's going to cost $15 million, but I think that's the next 2 we're going to get. Red Bull into the points. Ferrari both in the points, but not scoring many. Calderon, 6th place. She did start on the front row, though. Russell up in 5th for Renault. Verstappen on the podium in 2nd. And then the 2 Mercedes sandwiched in between. It was Hamilton who had the pole today, but only grabbing a 3rd place finish. We had a 10-second cushion at the end over those next 3 cars, all within that 10-second window. But it's Noda, again, back to front. 121-point advantage. Calderon 2 points clear of Vettel, starting to pull away ever so slightly. And same as a team, it's a 32-point advantage. It is still ridiculously close in the constructors, but we are just inching our way clear of them. Monza in the rain. Good result for McLaren as both drivers get into the top 7. Tough weekend for a number of teams. No points for Red Bull. AlphaTauri just won. Ferrari, both drivers in the points. Ricciardo up to 5th. That's certainly not bad for them. Only run Renault scoring. And for the second time in just a few races, it's Russell who gets the podium and Verstappen who's out of the points, finishing 14th after starting 6th. So really bad day for him. But with Mercedes only 4th and 8th, it's Calderon almost hitting the top step, 6 seconds behind Noda. That's, I'd say, the closest she's been to a win. Started 4th, finished 2nd, really good result, but it's still Noda with another win, so no wins for Calderon yet, but that's going to extend our lead a bit. For one, Calderon jumps ahead. Russell getting into the mix, Ricciardo, Vettel slips from recently as high as 5th place, now down to 8th. In fact, I think it was ahead of Verstappen at one point as well. So real surprise here as Vettel slips further and further down the standings. But Noda, 135 points clear. No doubt about it. Noda is going to win the Drivers' Championship. The Constructors, after this race, blown open. It does look like we're likely to claim the Constructors as well, even with a subpar second driver. Looking back briefly at last season's results, Noda finished 6th in the championship. Clearly, we got better as the season went on. We went from not scoring points to only 2 top 5s in the whole first half of the season. And then Hungary, Belgium, Spa, Singapore. We get that first podium at Singapore, or second podium at Singapore. But we're consistently into the points. From Hungary, actually even before that, right? From Monaco to the end of the season, every race was in the points. After only getting the points one of the first 6 races. But it went from 979, one podium sprinkled in there, 710, to suddenly it was 6th or better every race the rest of the season. But even by the end of the season, we had 3 third places and 1 second place. And that was it. That was it. I mean, it was solid. It was good. But there's no wins there. There's only 1 second place finish. And the podiums came late. So it's been a real surprise. And I mean, massive surprise. I thought we might win 4 or 5 races this year. I knew we developed the car to that point that we were going to be competitive, that Noda could get there. And it was surprising when we won Australia. But then we had 3 straight second places. Fastest lap in every race. So it was no surprise to me when we got another win in the Dutch Grand Prix. Like I said, I expected to have 4 or 5. I expected to be on the podium most weeks. But we have not lost since. Since that 5th race of the year, we have not lost a race since. We have won every single one. And most of them were close. It was 1, 2, 3 seconds. Now it's 7 to 10 seconds every race. Noda is completely dominant at this point. More than a second a lap faster than the other cars, just flying through the field. Calderon, well, we can see kind of a similar trajectory to Noda last season. A little bit in the points, a little bit out, couple 6th places, And then we get first podium at Azerbaijan. And then a second and a third and another second again. And now consistently in the top 7. Pretty similar to what we saw. So my guess, if we were to continue on with this beyond this season, my guess is that Noda is going to win every single race. That is if we have no regulation changes here in these final races. That's going to be the big key, because there's no way I'm covering most of those off. A lot of those, especially if it's multiple departments, we're screwed. I'm starting to save up some points now, just in case. I've got 4,600. But the car has hit that point where, with Noda behind the wheel, she's untouchable. Calderon, similar to where Noda was a year ago. So if we continue unchecked without regulation changes, Calderon, I think, could consistently finish second or third. Podium pretty much every race, with Noda just winning every one of them. Can we get Calderon a win finally? Maybe. Especially with what I'm intending to do here in the short term. That being, personnel just jumped to Spec 2 on everything. But we've got 10 million. We're going to make that upgrade to the Racecraft and Awareness. We're trying to force Calderon into being a little more competitive. And that's going to be the edge. That's what we're going for. That's her chance to start competing. The car is already where it needs to be. So just making these couple upgrades, it's possible she'll get that win before the end of this season. And it's possible we could have at least a little bit of a battle for the championship next season between those two. Possibly. But right now, the resource point generation is now completely maxed out in every single way except one. That one being secondary driver, so Calderon experience. The analysis suite, I could make one more upgrade there. We could, of course, have somebody, like Hamilton, Vettel, now retired Raikkonen, but have the most experienced driver on the grid as our second driver. That's the only way to increase the resource point generation more than what we have now. But the base generation through the facilities, 100% maxed out. There's plenty of other departments that could use our attention, though. Fabrication, build time. We're not done, but we're already dominant. So I don't know how much longer we'll go on with this. It is possible. When I started this series, in F1 2019, it wasn't terribly possible. But the new mode, having your own team where there was zero risk of getting fired, makes a world of difference. And we see that it's not only possible to do this, it's kind of easy. We've gone from nothing to the best team on the grid by far in just 3 seasons. And that's with multiple regulation changes. Each season's had at least one regulation change. That's going to do it for this episode, though. Still have a bit of season left to go. It's not over yet. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.